precept number 3, the third class. We're really going to start to dig in deep now. So just a quick review. Precept 1 was that which you are seeking is causing you to seek. We were basically acknowledging that there is an inner volition or guide within ourselves to help us learn and grow and evolve, to realize our full potential, to realize ourselves, and ultimately fulfill our life purpose and find meaning and happiness and peace. This is an intrinsic quality within all human beings. And so you've been guided, you're now ready, and that's why you're here taking this class. The second class was all about, well, what is guiding me? What is that volition? And who am I, really? Like, what is this that is causing life within me? There's some life force or spirit that is animating your existence, and we're taking time to connect with this life force. For that which causes life within you is you. Without it, you'd be dead, right? You'd just be a cell structure decomposing. So we're taking time in these classes to connect to the source of life within us, which connects us to the source of life itself, which is an expression of the divine, by whatever name you call the divine. So let's begin the class by taking a deep breath and holding this intention that we're going to try and connect. We're going to try and connect with that life force and innate intelligence within ourselves. We're going to connect to the source of life itself, guiding us to the degree that we can. And that it's going to be easy, effortless, and enjoyable. Because ultimately, it's all about love. It's going to feel good. So I want to invite you to first think about what is it that brought you here? What called you to be listening to the words that I'm sharing with you now? And just breathe in and acknowledge that part of you. And allow me to acknowledge the light within you that brought you here to hear me. So I see the same light in you as in me and in all of us. We're all being guided, and it's really a matter to the degree we're able to listen. So now precept 3 is really about learning how to listen. And the best way to listen is to step out of the noise in your head, which is basically what meditation is. It's pulling out of the endless noise in the conscious and subconscious, the different thoughts and emotions that are constantly moving around like a hurricane in most people's heads. But there's a place in the eye of the hurricane we can go to be what I call the witness or the observer. We become more mindful of what our mind is doing, as the Buddhists might say, and we become aware of the things happening in the brain, realizing we're not just our brain. So there's more to us than the physical cell structure, the mind, and our emotions. There is a spirit animating our existence. There is a consciousness, a part of us that is aware of what's happening through the mind and senses. So this is where we're going today. We're going to explore the nature of ourselves. So everyone, take a deep breath and gather in all your energy. And as you breathe out, I invite you to find a comfortable place to sit and sit up straight so your spine is erect, and close your eyes, and let's just imagine that we're unbuttoning our mind and unzipping our persona and stepping out of ourself, our earthly garment, a physical structure. And as spirit, we're all stepping into this hot, bubbling jacuzzi together. Breathe in and close your eyes and imagine you're stepping down into this warm bath or hot tub. And see if you can feel the warm, bubbly sensation soaking into your muscles and tendons and bones. The visualization helps invoke the feeling. So as you breathe out, just let your shoulders drop, let your head relax, and remember to roll your eyes up now and gaze at the point between your eyebrows so you make connection with the life force within you that is you, stimulating your pituitary gland, invoking a relaxation response. So your meditation now becomes easy, effortless, and enjoyable. Breathe in and feel the energy. Feel the energy in your nervous system. Feel it in your chi. Feel it in the electromagnetic fields around your body. Feel it around the earth. And now slowly bring your hands up and face it towards the camera and feel the energy moving between you and me. So through this exchange of energy, this will simply help you bring more of this energy up. We're cycling the energy. Just like practicing yoga or some other exercise, you're learning to build up your energy body or your life force. So inhale and maybe pass your hands from left to right and think of your fingers as little antenna or your palms as a satellite dish perhaps. And in my classes, we have students in over 100 countries. There might be students in 4 different continents on a live teleconference call or in a webcast. And even when you play this back again and again, every time you play it back and you connect, that connection and that exercise of trying to connect and feeling that energy flow through you develops that energy within you. So breathe in now and let that energy soak in. Just draw it in. I'm sharing an energy. I'm sharing a feeling with you. I'm sharing love with you. Lord, help me to be a pure vehicle for your love and light, wisdom. And as you breathe in, just let this energy move down your arms and into your heart and feel your heart opening. I mean, I can blast you with energy, but if you're not receptive to feel it, you won't feel much. And conversely, the more open you are to feel it, the more you will feel it. So breathe in and let that feeling, like imagine light moving down your arms into your heart and feel your heart opening and feel that light growing brighter. Kind of like when you blow on a coal and it starts radiating a brighter glow. Feel your heart glowing. Feel your glowing growing, and as you breathe out, feel that light spreading out now, and imagine your entire body enshrouded in a cocoon of golden white light. Again, breathing in, and just tune into the energy in your hands. And then just test it again. Turn your hands so the palms face each other. Bend your elbows 90 degrees. Imagine you're holding a beach ball in front of you, and very slowly start to wave your hands together and apart until you can feel this electromagnetic current or biomagnetism in your body. And just get attuned to it. So each time we practice this, you're going to become more attuned. The more attuned you become, the stronger your connection is. And the greater your connection, the greater love and joy and peace, and the better and more clearly you are guided. So feel the energy and just make a connection with it. It's kind of a way of acknowledging that it's there, and it helps you to tune in, allow your mind to dial in on something, you might say. And speaking of that, I want you to go ahead and bring your left hand down, and now take that same right hand that should be buzzing and feel how the energy is moving out to your fingertips. And you can open your eyes for just a minute if you want to observe, if you need more clarity in the instruction. You're going to bring your hands over and just very softly touch this point around your eyebrows. It doesn't matter exactly where it is. It might be a little bit higher for you. And sometimes the energy will come up here too. Or you can focus here at the tip of the nose. That's another point of concentration. So if you are inclined to go there, experiment, see how it feels. But generally speaking, you're going to be focusing here. So the eyes roll up, and now that magnetism in your hand is transferring to the point between the eyebrows, thus engaging your life force energy and your sympathetic nervous system. And now bring your hand down. Just gaze into my eyes for just a moment. And then close your eyes again and just gaze into your mind's eye. And let that feeling be your guide. Follow this feeling down the corridors of your own mind and let it take you back to the place before thoughts arise. And in the emptiness of the void, you simply allow your attention to dwell. You allow your individual consciousness to merge into total consciousness. You just merge into the feeling, just merge into the bliss. So your meditation is allowing yourself to feel the bliss, to feel the spirit flowing in your body, to allow your mind and body to be present to this divine presence within you, to awaken this consciousness from within you. See, we're not taking even one step outside of ourselves to find ourselves. You simply turn in and recognize what's already here. So breathe in and engage the focus at the point between the eyebrows. And now as you hear the sound of my voice, feel the energy, feel the sound moving into your third eye. Feel the connection psychically between you and I and this energy that we're sharing together. And just feel how the spirit is glowing brighter moment to moment, the more we connect and the deeper we go together. You know, throughout history, throughout the world, you can see that all mankind has been searching for one thing. All the world's teachings are really teaching the same thing. When I wrote Looking for God, I spent 20 years of my life studying every major sect of each religion and the different forms of yoga, meditation, shamanism, every spiritual teaching, 20 years of my life, hundreds of different organizations. And the one commonality to all these world teachings and world philosophies is they advise us to know ourself. It's in the Old Testament and the New. Jesus teaches it, Buddha teaches it, the Maharishi and the Maharaj. The Greek philosophers too. To know thyself is at the very core of our enlightenment. So let's begin thinking about that, just reflecting. Well, who are we? We have a physical body. We have a mind. So much of our life is what we think, our ideas, what we want and don't want, the personality, the job we have, the role we play as a parent in our family or in our culture or in existence itself. Your job may be something you identify with very strongly, or maybe your religion. But these are all patterns. These are all the result of your programming based on your life experience. And it doesn't really address fundamentally who you are or innately who you are as a being. So we have the mind, but the mind is in essence just a movement of energy through fields of neurons in our brain. It's electrical impulses moving through synaptic chains that are invoking a series of memories, we'll say, to create a thought. And usually thoughts intertwine in different senses. You might have if I say duck, picture a duck in your mind. Okay, well, the vision of a duck came. Perhaps Donald Duck. Perhaps the sound of a duck. The taste of a duck, heaven forbid. Or the smell of a duck. Or if you've ever touched a duck. All these thoughts are connected through neurological pathways. And so when you're thinking, energy is just flowing through your brain and chemicals are reacting. Gaia cells are bouncing these vibrations through the cerebral spinal fluid in your head, kind of like a satellite might bounce a signal from one part of the world to another. And all this exchange of electrical and chemical energy is forming your thoughts and your feelings and what you think of as life. But what you are isn't the thing going on in your head or in your body. The body and mind are the vehicle for the spirit and the consciousness that you are. So your own mind is only perhaps now beginning to realize that you're not your mind, you're not your body. You are this spirit, you are this consciousness itself, if you were to put a name to it. So I want you to breathe in right now and just think about, well, who am I? We can think about our thoughts and realize that's just a programmed response, like you may have data downloaded into your computer. And when you press a button, you might have had a little video clip that played back. And you might have a little clip in your head you can play back for what you were doing before this class, as an example. But there's some part of you watching that too, isn't there? There's some part of you that's watching it like you're watching a movie, and I call that the witness. And this is what we're going to develop, the practice of being able to watch our thoughts and watch our emotions and not be so plugged into them that they have control over us. Does that make sense? So take a deep breath, gaze into your mind's eye, and now just think of your body. And what is it made of? We've got this physical flesh, the cells, the bones. There's something very tangible there. So we know that there's a tangible sense of I. It's connected with a real physical thing. And all your senses are kind of validating your life experience through a body. But if you break the body down, you realize, God, there's billions of little cells. And a cell is a life form in its own, just like diatoms and plankton are single-celled creatures. You are a universe of billions of other cells. They each have their own intelligence. They each have their own RNA and DNA with their own programming, their own way of existing, their own way of interacting in their environment, their own communities. They take birth, they eat nutrients, they eliminate waste, they communicate with other cells. They're a very primitive life form, and you are the God, in a way, to all those little cells. Not to mention all the parasites and bacterium and other things that are living in your body. There's actually more bacterial cells in you than human cells. So in a way, you're more bacteria than you are a human. in terms of the total number of cells in your body. So there's all these different systems, all these different layers to your own being. And if you keep shrinking yourself down into the elements of your body, which all originated from stars. So at one level, you're stardust. And if you keep shrinking yourself down even more into the atoms themselves, you'll see that they're just positive and negative and neutral charges of energy interacting, creating pattern, precision, regularity, creating the sacred geometry that starts to create form. So again, from a latent potential, from the pure consciousness itself, there's a self-reflective quality to the consciousness that then creates a sense of differentiation to that which is differentiating it. So that the reflection itself creates a sense of separation itself. Like when you put a dot on a chalkboard, all of a sudden your attention goes to the dot. So if you have a proton expanding, creating an apparent separation, it's to an origin in another place. It always goes back to the zero, back to the 0 to 1 and 1 to 0 and back, or positive to negative. There's expansive, contractive, central pedal, central fugal, yin and yang. There's the positive proton expanding out, usually along with a neutron, or some configure thereof, and then around it is an electron or a series of them, which we call a valence field. And so we have this expansive force interacting with a contractive force. Expansion, contractive, yin and yang, and there's a cycle. And as the energy moves from one point to another, it operates in a field, and the field holds the imprint. The imprint provides the character for that particular atom, that particular combination of positives and negatives, or electrons and protons and so forth. Atomic weight, they call it. So how's that relevant to you? Well, if you understand the fundamental nature of your own being, then you can move this energy and consciousness in a ways that brings more joy and happiness and peace into your life. So there's this fundamental processing that's occurring at an atomic level, an attractive force and a repulsive force. And the attractive forces are coming together, forming configurations, like elements and compounds, or any molecular structure. So if you look at a molecule, you guys all remember molecules are configurations of atoms, and as the energy moves through the molecule, it has to go through different elements, typically, maybe the same, but it goes through a pattern nonetheless, and that pattern gives that element its character. And the energy that's running through is running through a field. The field holds the imprint. This is true in your own mind. That's why this is important for you to know. Now, as these systems of organizing intelligence move together, such as different amino acids coming together in collective bodies, like a town, they become protein chains that become different kinds of matter. It might be the cell membrane, it might be your hair or a nail. And all of a sudden we have greater systems of organizing intelligence working together. Well, that's what you are. You see within yourself these systems, the heart, the liver, the skin itself, the nervous system, the brain are all an extension of these systems of organizing intelligence that enable the consciousness to express itself in a greater and a better manner. And you see this in terms of sense development, from one sense living beings to two sense to three sense to apes, and then to human beings, and now we see even a greater sense developing in us as we reflect and look within and develop that sense within us. So as we're talking about it, something's actually happening. As you reflect and think about yourself evolving, you're actually evolving yourself. You're actually connecting with that innate intelligence that has been guiding you the whole time, and now you're conscious of it working through you. You can work with it, and thus there's going to be more harmony between your body, mind, and your spirit. And that harmony between these parts of yourself all working together create a harmonious resonance around you that brings you in harmony with life. Does that make sense? So you kind of got to get into your own zone. You got to get into your Tao. You got to get into the now, the Tao of now. You got to get into the present moment. You got to get connected to Source. So everyone, bring your hands up. Take a deep breath again, and let's connect energetically together. So you notice about every 10 to 15 minutes I have you put your hand up again. I talk to you. So what that's doing is the exchange of energy comes into your body and you begin to acclimate to that level. So now as I'm putting my hand up now, you're going to feel the energy is much stronger. So just pat the air in front of you and see if you can feel like the thickness of the energy coming into you. And if you want to open your eyes, that's fine. I'll gaze into the camera, so it'll go directly into your eyes, and we'll just connect, spirit to spirit, soul to soul. And there's really no mystery to this. The closer you get to God, the more love you feel. You enter into the kingdom of heaven when you enter into a relationship with the divine. And so the more love you feel, the more you have to share. So all that's happening now is we're beginning to share this feeling. We're sharing this love. We're sharing this grace, if you will. So breathe in and let that energy come into your hands and down your arms and into your heart. Open your heart. And as you breathe out, expand your field outward and imagine that electromagnetic field or that auric field moving 3 feet, 4 feet, even 5 feet around you. And your entire body is enshrouded in a cocoon of golden white light. You are that light. Breathe in and see if you can absorb a little more. Stretch your capacity to receive. Feel your heart opening even more. Why not? And now, bring your left hand down and go ahead and tap your third eye again with the middle finger of your right hand. Just tap a couple times, just give it a little more juice. And then bring that hand down, close your eyes, and let's just dive into the feeling. So it's almost like you were turning the knob on a radio and you're moving from 97.7 to maybe 101.1 or something. You're moving up now to a higher frequency. Just feel yourself being lifted up. And you're floating. Swamiji used to say he was floating in fullness. There's this sense, and that's why we like to use the analogy of the jacuzzi. There's kind of like a warm, bubbly feeling that comes up. So you want to engage that feeling and acclimate to it. Let it move through you. Let yourself be loved. Again, gentle breath in. So all of us are like leaves on this tree of life, in that we all kind of show up in different places on the earth, and we have slightly different forms, but we're essentially the same. And we're all connected to something greater. We don't have a life separate from the whole. We don't have a life separate from other humans, from the earth, from the oxygen we're breathing, the elements. We are a part of them and they are a part of us. We're not separate from the air we're breathing or the energy we're taking in. We're a part of that. But our mind and senses have been focused on just a very narrow bandwidth. If you were to take all the light, for instance, that you can see, or even that you can't see, all the light that can be measured, and you made it, say, 6 feet wide, the amount you can see with your physical eyes is maybe only an inch or two on that scale. There are great levels of ultraviolet light, gamma rays, X-rays, radio wavelengths that we can't see with our physical eyes. And so our physical senses actually narrow our awareness to a very linear perspective. And when we go into meditation, our awareness begins to move out beyond the bounds of our mind and senses. This is what we call transcendental. This is when your awareness will begin to connect with the awareness of the earth itself and the universe itself, the divine presence that is guiding everything in nature and in life, the force, if you will. So breathe in and first feel it within yourself. And then as you breathe out, your awareness will begin to develop of the subtle energies around you, both the positive and the negative. You can use them like navigating a river. You'll have a sense of where to go the more you tune in. And so I want to develop this witness practice with you a little bit more. Close your eyes, gaze into your mind's eye, and now observe the sound in your ear. And just notice that your eardrum is vibrating. Just observe that there's sound moving from your digital device, and your ears are picking it up, and they're vibrating. The cochlea is moving, right? And a little impulse is moving through nerve fibers, sending a signal into your brain. And just observe the sound coming in. And at the next level, I want you to observe that your mind is identifying those sounds as words. And every new word that I speak, your mind is going to some place in your head to access that meaning of that word. And then it's forming relationships between all the sounds and all the words to form thought. And I just want you to observe thought happening. And now I want you to step back from the thought or step back from the picture. Whether your eyes are open or closed, there's some space between where you're sitting and where you're viewing. Like going to a movie, there might be 30 feet or 60 feet. If you're watching on your TV, it might be 6 or 12 feet. If it's your computer, it might be 3 feet. If it's your cell phone, it might be 1 foot. But there's some space between what's happening in the device and who's observing what's happening in the device. So I want you to sit back from your mind and observe the sound, observe the thoughts and the thinking, and just watch the thoughts move through your head like you were watching clouds pass overhead. And now observe the space between you and your thoughts. And now observe the space between your thoughts. And see if you can make the spaces between your thoughts wider. Now gaze into your mind, gaze into your mind's eye, and just let the thoughts come and go without really looking, like knowing that there's clouds up there floating around. You're not really noticing the clouds. Just see how you can look out and observe the space between you and the clouds, the space between the clouds, the space beyond the clouds, and even the space within the clouds. So just observe thoughts kind of floating through, but see them as just thoughts floating through, and that's all they are. Observe the thought, and now observe the part of you observing the thought. Turn your awareness around 180 degrees and observe the observer observing. Now, nothing happens when you do that. Don't expect a thing to happen. Matter of fact, it's a no thing that doesn't happen in a way. It's the opposite of happening. It's the opposite of doing. There's no phenomena that needs to occur because the phenomena, it's all fleeting, temporal, and not ultimately real. What we're doing is going back into the underlying consciousness that is providing for whatever is being projected. So anything that's being projected is being provided for because there's a place for it to be presented. It only arises for some fleeting moment of time, and it will eventually go back into what to us appears as emptiness or nothingness again. So all our thoughts, all our feelings, all the experiences of your life, even matter itself, begins to arise out of what appears to be nothingness. It goes through some change and appearance for some fleeting time, but all of it ultimately will change. The energy will change, and it will appear to disappear. So there's something underlying everything that's appearing that is providing for everything that is appearing. And that's where we're going, to that underlying essence or consciousness that provides for every thought, every action, every form, and all substance. It's all an expression of the consciousness. So take a deep breath and now draw your awareness inward and observe the part of you that is reflecting on this. Observe your own mind getting it. And now ask yourself, do I understand it? Do I understand that there's something other than my mind and body that can observe my mind and body? Just be conscious of that which is conscious. Just be aware of your awareness and be aware of how aware you are. For the more aware of how aware you are, the more aware you're going to be. The higher state of awareness you will reside at and operate at and live in. It's all a matter of choice. So from now on through the rest of your life, I just want to make sure you know you have a choice what state of mind to be in. And if you're in a state that you don't like, you can come back here. Because this peace and this joy and this love is always within you. All you got to do is connect with your spirit again. So remember, anytime that you're feeling anything other than happiness and peace, it's only serving as a reminder to get back in touch with yourself, to get connected again. So let's get connected again. Go ahead and open your eyes. And once again, just gaze into my eyes and feel the divine energy moving from my eyes into your eyes. So this isn't such a mystery, really, is it? We all know that the eyes are the windows to the soul. And I want to connect with you, soul to soul. I want to connect with you in spirit. So I'm enabling you to look deep within myself, and I'm holding a place in my heart for you. And I invite you to let me in to whatever degree you feel comfortable, and let me show you, let me give you what the divine has given to me to share to you. I really have nothing I can give you myself. But by the grace of Almighty, I want you to connect with me and feel what I'm feeling right now. So just breathe in. And now close your eyes again, roll your eyes up, and dive into the feeling. Now slowly open your eyes again. And see if you can maintain this connection and this state with your eyes open. So we have a little open eye meditation through maybe half the class, and a closed eye meditation through the other half. And this will enable you to begin integrating this higher awareness that you're tapping into and developing, and bring it in to the mind and senses and your daily activity. And that's where you're going to see the most progress, is when you're able to take these insights and this heightened awareness and now bring it into your family and bring it into your business and bring it into your life. And that's how you're going to find more joy and fulfillment from your life. So now observe the feeling and observe the part of you that is observing the feeling. Just observe the observer observing. What is this? You see, even if the body were to dissolve, even if there was no neurological activity, this consciousness would remain as it is. So as you step back from the mind and senses and become the witness, you're not ignoring your emotions or mind. You're not just trying to block out something that is unpleasant or unpainful. But from this place of being the witness, you develop more objectivity. And you can deal with whatever emotion or thought or problem, a challenge that comes up in your life. You'll deal with it from a greater perspective. Kind of like a balloon floating above the forest below. You can see what's happening. You can see what impediments, what maybe attachments, what mental programming, what situations aren't working. And you also begin to see the opportunities, where things are flowing, how you can channel and direct your energy to come back into prosperity, happiness, and peace. It's a matter of gaining perspective. To gain the perspective, you need to step back from the mind and begin to watch it. And from here, you can start to redevelop it. And that's where we're going to go in the next few lectures, is we're going to begin to look at ways that we can both clear out negative beliefs, fear, any kind of programming that doesn't really serve us anymore, and then download some new programs, create some new thought forms, create some new visions, learn how to develop the blueprint in our mind so that as spirit moves through as inspiration and ideas and words and connections with people, things start to take form in your work, in your relationships, in every facet of your life, because now you're integrating your awareness into the mental processes of your mind and not just reacting to things that are coming up in your life. Does that make sense? So your next assignment is going to be a journaling assignment. I want to invite you to continue your meditation every morning. And if you can now, maybe do another meditation at night. And even if it's 15 minutes before going to bed, just sit, roll your eyes up, gaze into your mind's eye, and let that connection with the divine be what leads you into your slumber. And then you can begin to have these really amazing dreams that we'll talk about in another lecture. But get in the process of connecting with the divine at night before going to sleep, instead of just watching a show or some other entertainment. During this course, focus your time on how Spirit is guiding you, and it'll change your life in ways you can't even imagine. So trying to sit twice a day is the assignment for exercise or Precept 3. And the other thing I was going to invite you to do is expand your journaling. So you're, one, looking at in what ways you're being tested. Continue to look at what opportunities are presenting itself. What you need help with. And finally, what you feel grateful for. You want to make sure that you're not spending too much time focusing on problems or something that's negative. You don't want to conduct negative energy in your body. You have to address the conflicts and address the situations, but you want to make sure that what you're conducting in your nervous system and through your body is a positive energy. So in your journaling, be sure to recount all those things you have to be thankful for and have gratitude for. And the more open you are to receive, the more you'll receive. The more you'll have to be grateful for, and the more grateful you are for these things, the more abundance will flow to you. So God bless you and your family. May you all enjoy good health and have long life, prosperity, happiness, and peace. May the whole world live in happiness and peace.